Welcome to the Financial Coaches Podcast, where we talk about how to build your practice from startup to scale up while being the kind of coach your clients crave. Finally, a podcast for financial coaches. Here are your hosts, Maria Casillas and Cody Sizemore.
Hello and welcome back to the Financial Coaches Podcast. My name is Cody Sizemore and I'm joined here by my lovely co-host, Maria Casillas. And today we are going to be talking to you guys about something I don't think we've talked about before, which is value adds for our clients. But before we get into that, I just want to give you guys a couple reminders and also say thank you to really everyone listening, whether it be your first time, your second time, your 10th time, your 100th time, whatever it might be. We just want to say thank you for listening. And we especially want to be, calling out the people who we would call every weekers. And those are the people who listen to the show every single week. It's part of their routine. It's a part of their life. It's a part of their blood, all this kinds of stuff, right? So we just really appreciate you because you are the ones who make this all possible. So thank you for that. And if you haven't yet joined our Facebook group, it's a growing Facebook group, and there's actually been a lot of traffic in there as of recently, which is where we're actually going to be getting a lot of these topics for these upcoming shows that we're going to be getting. But that is called the Financial Coaches Community by New Money Habits. And you can find that on Facebook. Just answer a couple questions to join in. It's free. And then you can be a part of that growing community with very, like-minded coaches from there. And last but not least, if you are a aspiring financial coach or someone who's just getting started or wanting to get started or trying to find your first or maybe even your second client, we did create a online course, and it is for you specifically. It's for those people who are trying to get started as a financial coach. So we named it something really, really clever. It's literally just called Getting Started as a Financial Coach. And if you're interested in learning more about that and, taking your coaching to the next level, you can find that link in the show notes and get started with that. So with that being said, Maria, good to see you. How you doing?
Good to see you too, Cody. Thank you much. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Awesome. So value adds.
Yeah. I know you mentioned at the top of the episode that we probably haven't talked about this yet. And I think that that's probably a true statement that we have not specifically called this out. I know we've probably woven in the idea of value and what we bring to our clients throughout the last 100 and some episodes, but I actually think it's a really good idea to pull out some of the very specifics around value adds and what it is that we even mean, why are they important, and hopefully we'll be able to give our listeners today a few concrete examples that they can start implementing right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that with this value add topic, I think that it's something that a lot of people in general, not even just financial coaches, but a lot of just people in general, when we're trying to start the business or trying to serve our clients or we're trying to scale the business, we're very focused on that. And sometimes we just forget that hey, it's nice to do things that's a little bit extra for the clients without you even telling them from the get-go, so that they have that feel good sensation, you know how it is when you get a surprise gift from someone or they do something nice for you that's kind of unexpected. It makes you feel more connected with them, and that's, I think, a really, really important thing that sometimes we overlook when it comes to our own practices.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that as somebody who has paid for coaching myself, I can say that when I receive those value adds from the people that I have invested in, it really does make a huge difference. It allows me to know, okay, this person wasn't just after the finances. They actually care about who I am, what I'm doing. And depending on what the thing is, it might not just be something that I receive as a gift necessarily. But I'll give you an example. I know we haven't jumped into those yet, but even just something like, a link to an article about something that they know is going to be specifically helpful to me. That's not receiving anything in the mail. It's not something that's tangible, but what it says to me is this individual is thinking about me and they actually listened to what I was sharing with them. And it wasn't just, okay, my gosh, let's get through this session and be done with it. They're actually considering what my needs are beyond that and able to meet those in the moment.
It makes them feel like you actually care. right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you do care. You know that you care. I think that they know that you care, but when they receive just like that extra thing, they really, really feel it. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's really, really important.
I agree 100%. And I also think too, Cody, that when I said that, it could be something tangible. I think some people are worried about, well, can I afford this? It's like, yeah, you just kind of build it into what you're charging anyway. And when people are doing that, the person who is paying you for coaching, they're paying for the results that they're getting. They're not necessarily thinking, going, okay, well, this is how much I'm paying him per hour, and this is, what I'm going to get from it. They are just paying you for the results. So when you have already kind of factored that in and then you use that to make them feel a little bit more special, it's the amount that you're going to get back on that is just incredible. And it has nothing to do with actual tangible stuff. It's the impact that you're going to have. And that oftentimes is what most people are after anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a really good point that you bring up, is like, well, what if I go and, buy this and send this to them? And, like, how am I going to make that work in my bottom line? Like you mentioned, like, just have it be a part of your coaching program, your coaching fee, like whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And that way you don't need to really worry about it,
Right.
So yeah, it's a really good point. Really good point.
Yeah.
So what do you think some good value add ideas might be, Maria?
Well, one of the things that I have always done with my clients, Cody, is when they have joined any sort of program that I have, every time I'm out and about, if I see something that I think is really great, I will just purchase that and then I'll kind of have it on hand. And one of the things I like to do that with is cards. So physical cards. I have some that I had got cards. Yeah, I know, like old fashioned cards, like greeting cards type thing. No, not a car. Cards.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you're buying your client's cards, like, holy cow.
Yeah, I'm just working it right into my fees. No. But no, like actual cards. So I have some that I found that are like a picture of a fish in a really small fish bowl and then jumping into a really big fish bowl. And it says like the power of what can happen or something like that. And so just something that's inspirational. I also got these little, they're like little square cards and they have all these little inspirational quotes in there. And I just buy them in bulk. And then when I find something that could really touch somebody, or I know that they're going through something, I just will put a card together and I'll throw like one of those little cards inside of that and just mail that to them with a handwritten note stating, that, hey, I'm thinking about you. And, this came across my desk, or I saw this and, it made me think of you. And so I will send that to them. And that has just been really something fun. I also, like when we have our book club, for example, when we have somebody sign up for that, I'll actually create a note and I'll put one of those little bookmarks in there. I don't know if these are my favorite kind of bookmarks because they don't get lost, but they're the magnetic kind that, you can flip, right? Yeah. And so what I've done is I've gone online and I looked for things that have some sort of inspirational quote or something that is relevant for somebody. And I will put one or two of those into a card and say, welcome to our book club, because I just think that that's one of those, I mean, it's so simple and it's so inexpensive. It's not like it's going to cost anything. And heck, they might lose it before they even use it. I don't know. But they know that it's relevant and that it is just one of those reminders that we're thinking about them. So I have others, but I'm going to let you say something too, so that they don't think I'm the only one. Going out and doing some of this.
What I really like about what you said so far is that they're very simple, very either no cost or low cost kind of thing. Yep. But very effective, and something that you said earlier, which we kind of skated over it kind of quickly, but even just like, one of those links that you said you could send to people. Yeah. Even if you have like a lead magnet that you've created for just getting leads. So something like a gas saver tips kind of thing, or something like what I have is like something that I call a 30-day abundance activator. So it helps people with like having an abundant mindset. You can even just use those. They're already created. They're free. It's a link, and you can just send it over to them and say, hey, like based off of our last conversation or what you're currently dealing with, I thought this might be good for you. And, I made it and I wanted you to have it kind of
Yeah.
thing. So going along like the lines of simplicity and either no cost or low cost, that's another, option as well.
Great idea.
I will say, I want to kind of ramp things up from low cost to no cost to medium to like maybe larger as well. So
Perfect.
some of the medium stuff could be something like maybe there's a book that really, really made an impact on you. And you actually like, you kind of like intertwine some of the mindsets or perspectives or teachings within your own coaching. And it might be a good idea for you to even just send them a book that you think might be good for them to read. Especially if you feel like it's going to impact them in another layer, or almost like reinforce what you're going through with them in the first place. So, that's something that's a little bit more expensive, maybe like $20 or something like that. But, having like a physical book sent to you would be great. I also was part of a coaching program as well. It was a business coach, and their big thing was that they actually sent out a money tree to me, like a little like mini money tree. And, you could like, have in your home or your office, and you could have it grow and stuff like that. And that might be kind of a cool idea too. I don't know how much money trees cost, maybe like 10 or $15. I don't know. But that's kind of cool because it's like, you're a financial coach, so you send out money trees to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those people who like plants will freaking love that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who like plants, So something like that would be like a medium one, or maybe even like around Christmas time, like you could do like a Chick-fil-A gift card, or, something simple like that, something medium, $20 to $25 that they just weren't expecting. But it means a lot to them kind of thing.
Yep.
So that might be a few other options that are more, I would say, medium involvement or medium cost.
And before you move on to some of the ones that are a little bit higher cost, I would just say that a really good way to know what kinds of things to send to people are going to be to know what those interests are. Maybe you're finding out what the person would be doing if they weren't being so intentional with money, and so then you can reward them with some of the things that they have actually been putting off. Or it could be something more practical. If you say, hey, I know that you've been doing really well with your gas budget, and I'm going to give you $25 for gas, and you go and do that, something else that you wouldn't have otherwise done, and that kind of thing. If they've got kids and you know what those kids' interests are, and the kids have been really on board with all of this, and you're wanting to, help the parents help treat the kids, you can certainly be a lot more intentional with that. So I wouldn't necessarily like the bookmark thing or the cards. Those are things that while you're out and about, if you see it and you're like, oh my gosh, this would be really good for a myriad of clients, you can go ahead and buy those things in bulk and have them on hand. I wouldn't necessarily do that with a bunch of gift cards, though, if you plan to be a lot more intentional with the types of gift cards that you're going to be giving somebody, and or books, etc. I know when I started, there was a book that helped me. And when I brought people on board, I actually made that specific book part of every single program that I did. So I bought those books in bulk in the beginning. I no longer give that particular book out, so I don't buy in bulk anymore. But I do suggest making sure you're a lot more intentional so that the person feels like this was intended specifically for me.
Yeah. I had one client that very early on in the process, they admitted to me that they had an addiction to chicken wings, and in particular,
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yes, that was like their go-to spot. It's like their favorite restaurant, blah, blah, blah. And they had a birthday probably like 3 or 4 months in to coaching. So I just sent them a, $50 Buffalo Wild Wings card for, him and his wife. And I just said, hey, man, happy birthday. Go have some chicken wings on
That's
me.
Awesome. I love it.
And he loved it. He was like, this is so sweet. So just stuff like that. And that kind of goes into knowing your client and what they would appreciate. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I agree. Yep. I agree. That reminds me, I'm going a little off topic, but not really. One of the coaches that I hired, He is a podcaster, and in his podcast, he says that he podcasts from a Dunkin' Donut parking lot every morning, and he goes through the drive-through and gets his Dunkin' Donuts, and then gets coffee, not the donuts themselves, but and that's all part of his shtick. And so when it was his 50th birthday, I went ahead and sent him a gift of Dunkin' Donuts gift card. And the reason I say it's off topic, but not really, is because I paid him for coaching and still went and got him a gift rather than the other way around. But I bring it up because not only did you trigger that memory for me, but it's okay to do that too. So most of the people who are listening today, how strongly we believe that you should also invest in your own coaching, because none of us can do this without that extra added help. So if you do that, remember that it's okay to gift upwards too, even though you've already paid that person for service. If they're going above and beyond and a little thing about them and you want to just be that extra generous, that's okay too. And you'll be amazed at how they feel when that comes to them. They're like, oh, this person already paid me, and yet they're going above and beyond. So just remember that too.
Yep. And who knows, they might give you a special deal, extend something for you, like whatever,
They may.
That's why you should do it.
That's right. I'm glad you said that. Yeah. Certainly not why I did it. But yeah, it's just kind of nice to know that somebody is thinking about you. And when you have a coaching relationship, it can become, I'm going to use the word intimate, but you know what I mean. Like, it can become very close because of the topics that we talk about. And so I think it's okay to acknowledge that and let people know, hey, I hear you, I see you, and I appreciate you. So,
Absolutely.
Okay. So what are some of the more expensive things that you would suggest?
So I will just share with you one idea, and it's something that I'm actually doing literally in like 4 days. So, and I'm actually like really excited about it. So we've talked about this type of program that I have, which, and for the listeners who listen every week, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. For the people who are just now tuning in, I'll kind of give like a very brief synopsis of it. But basically, like, I have a program for the clients who've gone through my initial like core curriculum program, and then they chose to continue beyond that. And it's a group program, and we meet, twice a month for about an hour and a half at a time. And I call it the Money Momentum Group. So it's a group program for people who are wanting to keep the momentum going with their money. And that's hence the name, right? So once a year, I invite everyone over to my house, and, if they're local, great. If they want to make the trip, awesome, they can do that. But I invite everyone over to my house, and I just do like a little bit of like a 1-day retreat with them. So basically what I'm doing this Saturday is I'm going to be grilling out with some steaks. I'm going to be providing like all the drinks, alcoholic and not alcoholic. I'm going to be providing games, music, like little gift bags, like bottles of wine for people. It's like stuff like that, right? And just providing like a good opportunity for us to all come together in person and just really connect, and a way for me to show them, hey, like, I really, really appreciate you. I want to treat you for a day and just make you feel like you're being pampered, essentially, and have a good time, and call it a day, So I'm doing that. It's my first one that I'm doing, and I'm doing it on Saturday. All in all, I think it's probably going to be a couple $100 on my end, for the steaks and the alcohol and stuff like that. But, that kind of experience, like when you're able to meet up with people in person and have the bond go even deeper, at really no cost to them at all, aside from just the gas to get to your destination. They really appreciate that. And it hasn't even happened yet, and I've already had people tell me, hey, this is really, really cool. I'm glad that you're doing this, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's incredible. I was going to ask, Cody, because I know that you do a lot of your coaching. In fact, I think the majority of it, or if not all of it, is online. So are these particular clients of yours, are they all relatively local? Because you mentioned gas, but you didn't mention plane. So does that mean that they're all within driving distance to you?
Yeah, I think that, so the people who are coming, because obviously there's some that, are not local at all. And, some of them most of them actually said no for this.
Uh-huh.
But the ones that are coming, they're either local or they're like within like a 3-hour drive,
Okay.
So I have 2 people that are making like a 2 to 3 hour drive, and the rest of them
Mm-hmm.
are within an hour of me.
Okay, nice. So everybody was invited, but
Hmm.
obviously the ones who were like, oh, I can't really justify a plane ticket for a steak
Yep.
today is not, no, that's really cool. I love that.
Yep. So yeah, so that's something that's a little bit more involved, but it's a really cool thing. And I'm actually really looking forward to it because even though there are some people that are local, I've never met these people in
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm.
It's just things that I've been like connecting with people through mutual friends online and stuff like that, or referrals. So it's pretty cool to just like finally get to meet these people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's really, really cool, especially the fact that you just mentioned that you haven't seen them. Because a lot of the people that I work with locally, I actually do get to meet with them in person, which is something that's really fun. But the ones who don't, I think it's really cool. And I think about like you and I, like we were just talking earlier today, or I think it was last week with somebody, when we were just saying like, we've never met in person. So we've done this show for almost 3 years now. We've been working together even before that. And yet here we are, we've never actually seen each other in person. And I just think that that would be so neat to have the opportunity to do that. In fact, we here at New Money Habits, we're going to do exactly what you're talking about, a retreat, but we ended up having so many people from so many other areas, and there would have to be a plane ride for everybody. So we did not end up doing that. But I love the idea. I personally love going on retreats. I think that they are, and maybe yours isn't quite as involved as some of the retreats that I've been on, but it really is just a way to get to know somebody on a deeper level. And I know that what we talk about in our groups is pretty deep. So it seems like we're really going to get to know them on an even deeper level. But I think what is cool about it is maybe it's not even deeper. Maybe it's broader. Maybe we just get to know more about them because we're so focused for that hour and a half on what the topic is or what's going on in that one person's life. We don't get to find out, what are some of their hobbies? What are some of their likes and dislikes? And this is going to be a really good opportunity for them to do that with you and with each other. And it's just going to humanize them even more than you've already been able to do in the group. So really, really great idea.
And that's what I'm looking forward to is the broadness. I don't know. I mean, we might talk about something money related, but I don't.
But it's okay if you don't.
Yeah, I don't think we're going through it. It's going to be like just a hangout session.
That's right. That's right.
And they're going to be able to meet like my family as well. Like they've never met my family. They don't even know what they look like, that kind of thing. So, that'll just be like a cool experience for them as well. And again, like you said, like not only is it humanizing for them, but it's also humanizing for me as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be like another kind of larger value add that you could do, with probably some of more than likely your local clients. But hey, like you might have someone who might want to make the trip.
That's right. You absolutely might. And I do want to make sure I throw out to our audience today, because like you said, there might be somebody who's tuning in for the first time. And a lot of the people who are tuning into our show are either thinking about, becoming a coach, or they're just getting started. And so I want people to know that this big thing is not something that you have to get overwhelmed with and go, oh my gosh, I need to do this like in the next 6 months. You don't have to do it. Cody's been doing this a lot longer than 6 months. He's got a nice large group of people. He's got really good income from this. It's okay to take it slow. Just hear the ideas, let them marinate a little bit. And if it's something that you're feeling called to do, then get the steps in order to do that. But don't let this overwhelm you. It's not, it's not something that's required. So
yeah. Yep. Ditto. Ditto. I've been doing this for 4 years now, and this is the first time I'm doing it. So
yeah,
if that says anything, So.
Yeah. But it's still a really cool idea. And it's something for people to aspire to if they're feeling like, oh, this is really great. So,
And I will tell you that I have a big vision as well. So my big vision, and this is part of my visualization exercise that I do every morning, is one of these days, I'm going to be able to be buying my own lake house. And that lake house is going to serve 3 purposes. 1, for my family. 2, When I'm not using it, it's going to be an Airbnb. And 3, when I do have these retreats, it's going to be at the lake house, not my house.
Yep.
Which will
100% write-off.
Yeah, exactly. Make it a write-off. So.
Love it. Very, very good. So tune in next time and we'll make sure we let you know when that becomes a reality for Cody. And maybe Cody will invite all of us listeners to come to his lake house. I mean, I think that would be only fair, really, because we're all part of this dream.
That's true. That's true.
And I'll tell you how I like my steak. And
well, if it's anything more than medium rare, then I'm not making it. So
no, I'm okay with medium rare. I'll take it.
Cool. My mom likes it well done, and I'm just like, get out of here. Get out.
Right? Go buy your own steak, Mom. Oh, goodness. Well, this has been really fun. If you guys have any other ideas that you would like to add to the list, we encourage you to do that inside of our Facebook group. Just let us know, hey, I was listening to this episode and this is something that I do, or have you ever thought about X, Y, and Z? We would love to entertain some of those ideas and put them out there for all of our listeners as well. So please feel free to do that. Anything else, Cody, that you want to add before we wrap up today?
No, I think that we've added all the value today.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll look for my card from you in the mail in a few days. You guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. We look forward to seeing you next week again for another episode of the Financial Coaches Podcast. Till then, have a great rest of your week. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Financial Coaches Podcast, brought to you by New Money Habits and Sizemore Financial Coaching. Submit your questions to our hosts by emailing podcast@newmoneyhabits.com. Be sure to subscribe to be notified of future episodes and join our growing group of like-minded coaches on Facebook. And until next time, happy coaching. Music provided by Summer School.